Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to the Hustle and Happiness podcast. Today, I want to talk about when you figure out that you need to pivot. So, the big question is this: how are millennials like you and I, who refuse to accept the American dream template that the schools and our parents have tried to hand down to us, but looking to escape the rat race? How do we shift our mindset in life to reach success and find our happiness? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brandon Stover, and I'm an entrepreneur who is going from zero to success and sharing every one of my secrets along the way in order to inspire you to defy your odds. Welcome to the Hustle and Happiness podcast. So if you guys didn't know, some of the businesses that I have started, I've actually done quite a few, and a lot of them have been like transformed and moved and pivoted along my path as I learn more. As you basically like get out there and start doing these things and putting yourself and your products and your services out there, you kind of get feedback from the marketplace, as well as along the way you're probably learning different things. And as you get that new information, you have to decide, when do you keep going down that path and when do you pivot. And so I've done a few different businesses that, as of lately, I had been doing photography, doing portraits and things, as well as I had an e-commerce business running of a women's fashion brand that was aimed to build confidence in women through alternative clothing. And both of those I've been doing for quite a while. Photography I've been doing 2 or 3 years now, and then the e-commerce brand I've been doing since January of this year, 2018, and while both of them I've had fun and built and definitely learned a lot. I kind of looked back at both of those and was trying to decide if this was really something that I wanted to take long term into the future. And one of the things when I first started entrepreneurship, one of the reasons I started was because I felt like in my regular 9-to-5 job that I wasn't having an impact on the world, that the things that I was doing wasn't, leaving a big mark, wasn't solving any problems, wasn't, really impacting people's lives. And so I started to look at these two businesses that I had started, and I was like, oh, are they impacting people to the level that I want? And while the photography is really fun, and I have a great love for photography, I felt like it's too one-on-one, and the photography isn't necessarily tackling big problems that I want to solve. And then I looked at my e-commerce one, and I'm really behind getting building confidence in women. I think society has really confused women and basically allowing them to be themselves, and so that was something that I wanted to help through this brand. But I looked at it and seen it as only one-sided and wasn't as big as an impact that I wanted to have. And so I had also learned a lot of things about e-commerce and lower margins within that, depending on what you're selling. And we were doing clothing, and so you can only have like a 20 to 30% markup in most markets for clothing. And so I was like, I'm putting in a lot of time in these, but I could be putting more time into something that aligns more with the impact that I want to have, that aligns more with the why that I've set with myself, which is to inspire others to defy their odds and basically do that through the vehicle of entrepreneurship, and teaching other people entrepreneurship and teaching other people to develop themselves personally and really align every element of their life in order to leave their impact and show the world the problems that they can solve. And so I looked at these two businesses and I was like, well, they're not necessarily doing that. So I was like, okay, I need to pivot, I need to shift, and that's when I started doing this podcast, as well as deep diving into a lot of personal development stuff, that in the future you guys will see something coming up that I'm going to be working with that and helping people to develop their own personal journey. And so really you have to look at and align what you do with the sort of impact that you want to have life, and you have to start asking you the questions like, what is it really like 20, 30, 40 years from now I want to look back and see that I've done in my life? What is it that gets me out of bed every morning? What's going to energize me and excite me? I think a lot of people aren't lazy. They just haven't found the passion that are really going to drive them. I mean, when you do something you're passionate about and really fires you up, you will keep going and going and going. I'm sure there's things that you can look back in your life and like, yeah, I would do that for, I would do that for free, and I would do it for hours and hours. And those are the type of things that you want to really latch onto and basically be doing all the time. And so that's when you gotta look at your life and know when to pivot. As a kind of a side note from that, if you were trying to do multiple businesses, and this is just kind of a tip for you, there's a good book that I haven't actually read yet, but it's called The One Thing. And I think the major idea about it is just focusing in on that one thing. You can never become a master in life if you're trying to do a lot of things at the same time. Rather, you have to do one thing and just dive deep into it. So you can imagine this being like going out and looking for oil. If we just looked at the surface level of the entire earth, we would never find the oil. But instead, what people do is they go to one specific spot and they drill really, 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 really deep. And then what happens is you find a lot of oil, you get rich, and you hit the gold mine. And so you have to really basically go deep on one thing. And so I was doing 2 businesses and splitting my time 50-50. And I was like, well, what if I spent 100% time on one thing? And I think when you do that, you can exponentially go faster on that one thing, on that one business. And so that's when I really decided, hey, I need to focus on one business. And then I started asking myself, well, are these the businesses that I want to do to leave an impact? And that's when you have to shift. So that's what I wanted to go over today. Just think about in your life, in the areas that you need to pivot, are they aligning with who you want to be as a person and the sort of impact that you want to have on the world? So I'll see you guys in the next episode and hope you have a great day. All right, later, guys. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the behind-the-scenes look at an entrepreneur's journey. If you want to get more secrets to becoming an entrepreneur and pursuing your happiness, then visit www.hustleandhappiness.com. Join us again next time, and remember, you are just one decision away from your happiness.